Coming up in today's MLB recap, we have to talk about the fact that we almost had co-MVPs in one of the closest MVP races in years. Imagine if Judge and Cal Raleigh were sharing the same trophy. Ohtani, he's making history left and right. Only Barry Bonds stands in his way for the most MVPs ever. We have some huge trade rumors with some lefties. One for the Royals, one for the Mets, one for the Guard Dogs, also one for a part-time lefty, switch hitter Adley Rutschman. He's getting a ton of calls. Some are saying that he needs to stop switch hitting. If not, he might get moved because the Orioles can't afford to just let him work it out while he continues to struggle and struggle and struggle. And also in today's video, I got to interview Denzel Clark and ask him about his catch that was just named Play of the Year. We'll show that later on. First things first, we got to talk about the fact that we almost had a co-MVP for the first time since 1979. If two voters had voted for Cal instead of Judge, we would have had guys sharing the award. Instead, Aaron Judge walks away with 17 first place votes. Cal got 13, so it was one of the more close MVP races we've seen in quite some time. Judge, he just won his third MVP in 4 seasons, and remember, he was robbed in 2017. He should be a 4-time MVP. He's coming off a season in which he hit .331 with 53 home runs, one of 3 players ever to win a batting title in a 50 home run season. Oh, by the way, he hit .340 with runners in scoring position, so a lot of fans across baseball are saying he for sure earned it, but there's also a big pocket that says Cal Raleigh, he's a catcher, a switch-hitting catcher that had 60 home runs, 125 RBIs as again, a platinum. Well, he was platinum in 2024, not platinum in 2025, but still pretty good defensively. The literal captain of the Mariners that won a division title. So you guys have to let me know, did the voters get it right or wrong in crowning Aaron Judge again, this time over Cal Raleigh, who he was special. Honestly, the only person who could ever beat Cal in an MVP race for what he just did is Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani. Those are the only 2 guys in baseball who could do it. Speaking of Shohei Ohtani, he just won his 4th MVP, I think unanimously, by the way. Yes, yep, just checked. His 4th time winning unanimous MVP. He now owns the 2nd most MVPs in baseball history behind Barry Bonds. Barry has 7. So now it's time to ask the question, which one of Shohei's seasons have been the most impressive? I think I'm going to go with 2022. If you don't remember, he finished 4th in Cy Young. Ohtani had a 2.3 ERA in 166 innings, and in those 166, he had a whopping 219 strikeouts. He led the league with an 11.9 strikeouts per 9, and then in the box, he had a down season, only 30 doubles, 34 home runs, 95 runs batted in, 11 stolen bases, a 360 on base, and a 145 OPS plus. That's in a down season, but again, he almost won a Cy Young. That 50-50 season was absolutely mythical. 54 home runs, 130 RBIs, 59 stolen bases while hitting .310 and a 187 OPS plus. And then this past season, he had 55 home runs, 20 stolen bases, a 179 OPS plus, and on the bump, he had a 2.8 ERA with 62 strikeouts in 47 innings. So you guys have to let me know which season of Ohtani has been the most impressive. There's a lot of seasons to choose from. He's been absolutely mythical. Same with Aaron Judge. Up next, we have some comeback players of the year and relievers of the year. Before we talk about the relievers of the year, because I feel like we all kind of know who those guys are, the comeback players of the year in the AL, we have Jacob DeGoat. We have Mr. Jacob deGrom. Since 2021, Jacob deGrom has only made 35 starts and thrown a total of 197 innings. He almost got to that in 2025. In 30 starts, he kept his ERA just barely under 3. It was at a 2.97. He had 185 strikeouts and 173 innings, and he finished 8th in Cy Young. It was so nice to see DeGrom back and healthy and throwing gas at 37 years old. So it begs the question, if DeGrom can do this for a few more years, even though he's never going to sniff 150 wins, can he make the Hall of Fame? And then in the NL, we have Ronald Acuna Jr., who did not play a full season, but man, when he came back, he was absolutely out of this world. In 95 games, he had 21 home runs while hitting .290. He had 71 walks in 95 games. He had a 163 OPS plus and made an all-star team. He was, again, out of his mind. Not defensively, though. He still has to work on that, but he was just getting his sea legs back after that injury. One more thing about Ronald, he just said on Twitter that he is going to be a Brave for life. He promised it, and if you don't remember, Ronald, he's an upcoming free agent. He's a free agent after 2027. He does have a team option in 2028. There's no way that they're not going to accept that, but he could have been a free agent as soon as 2028. But Ronald said, I'm staying here. I'm a Brave for life. I promise. Let's see if he keeps it. Relievers of the year, we have Sugar Edwin Diaz. This guy was a real-life buzzsaw. What do you mean? He had 98 strikeouts in 66 innings to the tune of a 1.63 ERA and almost 30 saves. It's just kind of crazy knowing that a 13.3 strikeouts per nine isn't even really that great for Edwin Diaz. We know back in 2022, he had a 17.1, and 2 years before that, a 17.5 strikeouts per nine. He's one of the most lethal and nastiest pitchers this game has ever seen. And he picked the perfect time to bounce back, which he always does. He's good, then he has a 3-something ERA, good, 3-something ERA, and then he's good again. Right before free agency, he's going to get a bag, and the rumors are the Dodgers, they're in on both him and Raisel Iglesias and Pete Fairbanks and every elite reliever that you can think of. Aroldis Chapman could have been a free agent after his mythical 2025, but we know that he signed an extension for almost $13.5 million for 2026 with a mutual option in 2027. So basically, it's a one-year contract because if he's good again, he's going to opt out of the 2027 option. Aroldis had a 1.17 ERA with 32 strikeouts and 85 strikeouts in 61 innings, which is a 12.5 strikeouts per nine, his lowest since, 2017? But you got to remember, he also had his lowest walks per nine ever. He went from a 5.7 walks per nine in 61 innings last year with the Pirates to a 2.2 walks per nine in the same amount of innings. So whether you believe it was Andrew Bailey, the wizard pitching coach of the Red Sox, fixing Chapman's delivery and mechanics, or even just his cadence, his pacing, or the article that came out that Chapman, for the first time in his career, started locating the fastball up, fastball in. He had never done that before. According to some reports, Aaron Boone was like, yeah, that does not happen. That was from a John Boy interview. So what do you think fixed Aroldis Chapman? The pitching coach, experience, or locating? And super quick, one more thing before we get into the trade rumors about Jeff McNeil, Kris Bubic, and Steven Kwan. I want to show the play of the year. It was given to Denzel Clark, and I actually got to interview Denzel. Thank you so much to the Aviators for having me out a few weeks ago for the AAA Championship. I wanted to interview him, and I got it. Thank you so much. By the way, the love handles you're about to see are AI. It's artificial intelligence. No, I'm playing. I've been eating good this year, but this was my breakfast this morning, okay? 2026, I got some big ideas for 2026. You guys have been missing IRL content. It's going to be a movie. So again, this is unfortunately not AI, but I'm back in the lab, I promise. All right, guys, I got Denzel Clark here. I have to ask, how did you feel when you leaped over a wall? You were literally flying in the air. You became an angel in the outfield. What did that feel like in the moment, or did you just black out?
It was a crazy moment. I'll be honest. Like, in the moment, I'm like, okay, I'm just here playing baseball. I went up and caught the ball. After I came down, I definitely blacked out for a bit. I was like, I felt like it was sick because I obviously robbed a home run, but going back and watching the videos after, that's when it really kicked in. So it was pretty cool.
Okay, because we watched clips of like Andy Chavez from back in the day. Do you realize we're going to be watching that clip for the rest of time? Like, has that hit you yet? You're going to be part of history forever?
I mean, it hasn't. If y'all want to keep watching that, I appreciate it.
Shout out to Denzel Clark for allowing me some time, and also shout out to you guys. You guys have been supporting this channel like absolute crazy lately. Just a reminder, it always helps out the channel to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And a reminder, these videos would be impossible to make without channel sponsors SeatGeek and Underdog Fantasy. Use code Fuzzy to save $20 off on SeatGeek and for $100 on Underdog Fantasy when you put in 5 with the help of code Fuzzy. Let's talk about those trade rumors with 3 separate lefties. We have Jeff McNeil, Kris Bubic, who is disgusting, and Steven Kwan. Who do I want to talk about first? Let's go with McNeil because we have some breaking news about him. It was just announced that Jeff McNeil is recovering from thoracic outlet syndrome surgery, and it's been reported that he's going to be okay for spring training, but that came out of nowhere. Jeff was good, not great in 2025, and he's about to be 34 years old. He started off 2025 on fire. He had an 805 OPS in the first half with 9 home runs in 56 starts. That cratered to 3 home runs and only a 687 OPS in 57 starts in the second half. Plus, he wasn't very good again against lefties. I say that in terms of slugging and power production, he still gets on base 35% of the time against southpaws, but his contract is up in 2 years. You maybe want to try and get something for him. Another lefty that is currently on the chopping block, Kris Bubic. He's getting a ton of action in the trade market because he just put up a 2.5 ERA in 20 starts, and the strikeouts, they were decent. 116 strikeouts and 116 innings, so basically a perfect 9 strikeouts per 9. Now remember, Kris was a reliever in 2024. He had a 2.6 ERA, but he had a whopping 11.5 strikeouts per 9. So a lot of teams are thinking that they can tap back into that true insane strikeout stuff and try and get him in a trade. Just like Jeff McNeil, Bubic is a free agent in 2027, which now that 2025 is almost over, that feels pretty close. Steven Kwan is again in trade rumors. We knew that this was coming. Kwan, he was bad in the second half last year. In his final 53 games as the Guardians' leadoff hitter, reminder, he was the leadoff guy. His job was to get on base. He hit 243 with a 291 on base. He chased a little bit more. He walked less, and I gotta throw this out there. Steven Kwan had a paltry and embarrassing 581 OPS versus lefties last year. That is Miles Straw level of bad. He did not hit a single home run against a southpaw all season. And that's exactly what the Guardians are trying to correct in their outfield. I know he's insane defensively. What is he, a 3 or 4 time consecutive Gold Glove winner? They want more power bats in the outfield, and Kwan, with his defensive capabilities and the fact that he's probably not going to slump again, he's worth a lot. The Dodgers are reportedly back in on Steven Kwan, and teams are also calling about Kwani's OSU teammate, his Oregon State teammate, Adley Rutschman. He's going to be a free agent in 2028, just like Steven Kwan. And I mean, he's been awful. I guess awful is subjective because he's still been a really awesome defensive catcher. And offensively, he's a catcher. You're going to take what you can get, but a lot of fans are saying that he needs to stop switch hitting because against right-handed pitching over the last 2 seasons combined, so from 2024 to 2025, he had a combined 214 with a terrible 290 on base and a 641 OPS. We saw his old teammate Cedric Mullins stop switch hitting, and that kind of saved his career. Also, one more thing to notate about Adley, aside from the fact that he's going to be 28 years old, he had 29 RBIs in 90 games. He hit 133 with runners in scoring position last year. He was one of the worst clutch hitters in the game. And for comparison, the rookie super prospect Samuel Basayo, who plays the same position as Adley, he had 15 RBIs in 31 games. So yeah, it's going to make it a little bit easier to move Adley if he's not going to be clutch or hit righties. So of all of the players that we've talked about in today's video, Jeff McNeil, Chris Bubich, Steven Kwan, and Adley Rutschman, who do you think is the most likely to get traded, and who do you think is going to get the biggest package if they do get traded? And the last bit of news in today's recap, PCA and Corbin Carroll have officially joined one of the more stacked baseball teams ever assembled, Team USA, for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. I told you guys that these guys were going to be on the squad a couple months ago, and a lot of you guys were saying, no, Corbin is not going to be on Team USA. Well, who was right with that? Me. Sorry, just a reminder that, guys, I'm very rarely wrong. I'm just early. See you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe.